Alrighty. Good morning again, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hey, Owen. Good morning. How are you doing? Feels like it's been a long time no see. So hope you're well. In today's session, we'll talk about the Aussie CPI, which got released at a 2.1%. Didn't see a big impact on the Aussie dollar, but we'll talk about that as well. And then we'll look into the ADP non-farm payroll or non-farm employment change numbers to be released later tonight at 8:15 p.m. GMT plus 8, together with the US Advance GDP to be released as well. And of course, we have to talk about gold rocketing to the upside. Almost touched 2790, came back down slightly, but I'm thinking 2800 before a big correction. All that to come, but first, alrighty. And I'm back. Thanks for that, Owen. Yes, I usually do ask. How's the? You can hear me all right? See me okay? So audio video is good. Thank you. Hey, Margas, how you doing? Good morning. And it's always good to have you back, Owen. So good to see you again. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Hope you're well. Now, again, as usual, if you're on the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free, put it into the chat and let me know. And you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button. Ideally, you'll get more people onto the live stream and we'll get more people jumping on, right? Have been doing this live stream for a year, 2 years now. So let's try and get more people onto it. If you haven't already, I did just put up a video about just a bit of an office tour. I've seen so many videos of office tours, so I did try to do my own little version. It's a bit funny. It's a bit of a funny one, so go check it out as well. Leave a comment in there, right? Right, so back to the trading. What has happened since the last time we spoke? Overnight, we had the US JOLTS job openings. It was 8.04 mil, got revised down to 7.86 mil. Expected 7.98, came out at 7.44 mil. Right, so a bit of a slowdown in jobs openings. Right, a bit of a slowdown in jobs openings. I don't think it was a terrible number. Right, in my view, I don't think it was a terrible number, but it does signal a bit of a slowdown. And because of that job openings being lesser, it's going to down the line impact on employment numbers possibly being a bit slower or being a bit smaller as well. And because of that, after these news, what we saw on the CME FedWatch tool was that this was just yesterday. We had a 4.2% chance that they would not do anything or would not change rates on the 7th of November. Now, it was 4.2 and 5.8 just yesterday. Now, it's at a 98.9% chance, almost a certainty that they will cut rates by 25 basis points, with a small chance that they'll cut rates, small chance of 1.1% that they will cut rates by 50 basis points, right? Because of that slowdown in job openings or lesser jobs openings, possible slowdown in employment numbers, giving that 1.1% chance that they might cut rates more at 50 basis points just to try and stimulate the economy a little bit more, right? It's all down to employment numbers now. So that switch, that 4.2% switch over to a 25 and a 50 basis point chance of a rate cut led to the dollar, well, first pushing right up. And on release of that news, before the news and on release of the news, saw it push right, I'll zoom in a bit, push right back down, right? And that's what we saw on the dollar as chance of a bigger rate cut or certainty of a rate cut brings some weakness to the dollar back to the downside. Still sitting along this area here. We'll talk more about that shortly when we look at the dollar index in more detail. The good thing is we saw consumer confidence go up to above 100, right, at 108.7. Consumer confidence leads to retail sales number because consumers are more confident about their income, about their financial stability, right, leading to willingness to spend. And retail sales numbers or consumer spending filters down or filters up to the GDP number. So increased or improving consumer confidence is good. It's a good thing, right? At 10 p.m. we saw that, and that's why you saw a lot of a chop and change. This is at 10 right there. I'll zoom in a bit just to show you. Right, this was at 10 right there. First, it popped right down because of jobs openings, popped right back up again, right? Because of good consumer, I would say just because of good consumer confidence numbers, but overall with an increasing likelihood for a rate cut of 25 and a slight chance of a 50 basis points, we saw the dollar index push right back down again. Okay, so that was what happened. That was the news overnight. Early this morning, we had the Aussie CPI number being released. Aussie CPI year on year, it was a 2.7, expected 2.3, got released at a 2.1%. Quarter on quarter was 1, expected 0.3, came out at 0.2%. Overall, it kind of got released as we had expected. And what we saw on the Aussie dollar as that got released. Hang on. Yep. So that was released at 8:30 when that got released right there. Okay. You saw it push up a bit, come back down a bit, but it's just finding that level being a bit difficult to break. Then after that, through the day, now it's broken and it came back up again. So not a big reaction there following the CPI number being released for the Aussies, mainly because the RBA has also kind of signaled that they're going to stay, they're going to wait, they're going to possibly look into the rate cut scenarios into early next year. So numbers here make sense. Well, it's good numbers in terms of fighting inflation growth, but they probably want to see a bit more data, want to gain a bit more confidence before they look for that rate cut scenario. All right, I'll go further into the rate cut scenario. With that, then we have tonight at 8:15 p.m. GMT plus 8, the ADP Non-Farm employment change number, and you see JOLTS jobs openings slowing down in terms of the job numbers, leading to ADP Non-Farm at 143 currently, expecting 110. So we might even see a bit lower. I would think that we might even see a bit of a lower number than 110, which again could bring about some weakness further weakness onto the dollar. GDP, advanced GDP quarter on quarter expected to stay the same for now at 3%. Right? So not expecting a change there. All this leads up into tomorrow, where we have, well, not doesn't lead up into that, but we have the BOJ with their policy decision tomorrow morning, likely between 10 and 1 p.m. That's tentative, GMT plus 8. And then the core PCE price index to come for the US tomorrow, the Canadian GDP to come as well, and employment claims, employment cost index to come as well. I'll tell you more about that during tomorrow's session. Okay? Oh, good. Any questions so far? Put it in the chat. Let me know. I feel like recently the news in terms of the fundamentals, the data's coming out, hasn't been too surprising. It's been relatively straightforward. And also the reaction to the data has been relatively straightforward as well. So do you think so? Do you agree? Put it in the chat, let me know, right? Because I think about a year ago, 2 years ago, it was a bit more confusing where you see a news data come out or data come out and then price will react totally different to the data, right? You might see a good news and you see price dropping. So now it seems to have gotten back into alignment and it's kind of making it a lot easier to go to trade. Let me know if you think so too, or or you're still totally lost and confused. Let me know. All right. Hey, Angel Case, how you doing? Good morning. Hey, Richard. Good morning to you too. Richard's asking, do you know month-end flow when it usually starts? Um, I don't. I don't really bother too much about the month-end flow. Not that much, right? I do kind of consider it, but I'm not trading in particular to the month-end flow. But I do consider the quarter, right? At quarter, end of the quarter, I look into that. And then definitely end of the year, right? End of the year is a big one. End of the quarter, end of the 6 months, but I don't really think about end of the month too much. All right. So I don't really know when it starts. Yeah. Hey, Augusto, good afternoon. How are you doing? And hey, Bill, good morning to you. Good to see you back. No worries, Richard. Now, with all that said, let's look into the dollar index. Okay, so dollar index here, yesterday we looked into this. Oops. Yesterday we looked into this where we said that it could retest 104, could retest 104.40, which was up there. Then trade lower to break the bullish trend line and 61 down to 104 and 103.80. It did a little bit more than that. It broke above 104.40. It tested 104.60, which was the levels that we saw on the 23rd of October, again on the 28th of October, and most recently yesterday on the 29th. So I'm sniffing a bit today, right? So it tested those level or that high at 104.60 and then pushed right back down. So pushed up a bit more than we expected. But it did come down to test this trend line again, right? It tests the trend line. The main thing is that it has not broken that 61.8 fib short-term fib retracement level of 61.8, which is at that 104.20 level. What I'm looking for here today, being the 30th of October, is for it to DXY. I'm looking for it to possibly sit there for a little bit and then break to the downside. And I just noted I just saw something as well. Okay, I'll tell you that dollar index needs look to break 104.20 and 61.8 level to trade down to 104 and 103.80. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Looking for it to break this level to trade down towards these points here. Another thing to what I just said, I kind of saw was a bit of that, right? A bit of a head and shoulder pattern with the neckline just at this 61.8. So if it does break that neckline, we might have that head and shoulder pattern to the downside as well. All right, and then a triple top, and the head and shoulder pattern, and then 61.8, and then before that, we had bad JLTS jobs openings number. We have ADP Non-Farm likely. I think it could be below 100, maybe. So bad employment numbers, and then increasing likelihood for a rate cut of at least 25, maybe even 50 to be considered. I think it's most likely going to be 25. So rate cut scenario, put that all together, weakness to the dollar to the downside. All right, so that's what I'm looking for there on the dollar index. Now, weakness to the dollar. So we'll look at the Kiwi dollar first. Right, so Kiwi against the dollar. Yesterday, we're looking for it to bounce and test. We talked about a counter trend possibility, right, to push back up, or a trend following to the downside. The main thing here, it struggled to break lower, so that would not have triggered. The counter trend possibility is still there. Hey, Noachuku, how are you doing? Right, the counter trend possibility is still there, and oops, what happened to my line? Oh, and improving. Right, you see that whole triangle, a break to the upside. Let's take that one away first. Take that one down to here. That one down to here. Right, so we have that 23.6 here. Let's see. Okay. So with that, I just want to look at this point. This long move, 23.6 is up here. Yes, okay. So same thing, what I'll be looking out for on the Kiwi as a counter trend idea because of that dollar weakness, potential dollar weakness. I'll be looking, and this time I would come a little bit nearer and think that if it can break above this 23.6 level, so it needs to close out of this triangle or this bearish trend line first, and then above that 23.6 as well, I'll be thinking great, looks like I'll be looking to buy it up. Then I'll be looking at, so it needs to break this level, break that 23, then I'll be looking for that move up to about this area. I'm just thinking whether we can go a little bit earlier. So I'll look for that 5990. I'll look for 5990. I'll look at a 20 pip stop. All right, you have a 40 at 61.8, and you have a 60 all the way back up to that level there. So that's what I'll be looking for. Okay, so Kiwi, I'll be looking at buy at 0.5990, stop loss 20, take profit 60, to the upside. Break above, I'll move it one across. Break above that trend line, push up, break above 23.6, look to buy it up, 5990 to push up. You could get out at, or you could start considering to exit at 0.6030, or let it try to get to a sick profit at 6050. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking out for on the Kiwi dollar. Following on from that, the Aussie dollar, right? We saw that test, we saw it push down. You could have made some on that if you got in earlier there, but it was risky because of the CPI data to be released, right? So it came back up and then pushed down again. Now at this point, what we're looking for, take that away first. Drag that down. Again, the consideration is, can we go counter because of that we expected weakness? I'll take all these lines away first. Because of the expected weakness on the dollar. I think that one's holding. Keep that there. Okay. And then I'll keep that at this point. I'll put a line there. Right, that might actually be a good resistance level, a short-term resistance level, which kind of works with that 23.6. You know what? I'm actually not super keen to do a counter on this, because if you take that away and you go this way down, and you do that, you see a channel that way. Right? That's what I'm noticing on the Aussie. So I see a channel, top, 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 with the resistance there, bottom, bottom. So it's tested this level a couple of times. That kind of makes sense. What I would then be thinking would be, could the Aussie dollar sit there or push up, test, and then come back down again? All right, so, and then come back down to about this level down here, which we see back on the 8th of August. So that's what I would be looking for. Test, back down. If that's the case, then you'll be thinking 6580, stop loss 20, take profit 50 to the downside. Test and reject of that channel to push back down. Aussie dollar, I'll be looking at 65. Oh, we're looking at the same level. 80, 6580, 20 to 50 to the downside. Yeah, we have it there. Fantastic. Alrighty. Okay. I'll put that in there and say that it's bearish channel. Okay, I'll change this. Let's put the comments behind. We're looking at a counter trend. All right, there we go. Now with that, that makes sense. Okay, then we look at the pound dollar. Pound dollar, pound dollar, pound dollar. Pushed up as we have expected. Testing around this area, hasn't done anything yet. I would say that I would still keep this view despite expecting that dollar weakness. 20 lines here, let me take that away. All right, despite expecting some dollar weakness to come into play, I'll keep that view just because of what we've seen on the pound dollar to the downside. So keep that. That makes sense. I'll be looking at 1.2990 30 pip stop, and then a 70 80 pip take with a possible hesitation. Maybe what you would then alternatively be looking at is 1.2970. I wanted to break this trend line, because if I looked at it at that point, right, it could just come down, bound, and then do that again, right? So I don't want that. I don't want to get in and wait for it and look at it bounce back up that much. I want to say that if it breaks below that trend line, so do that, my take profit is 50, my stop loss will be about 25, just above that trend line. Okay, so I'm looking at this, where it sits in this area, looking for it to break to the downside. Now that's pound dollar 1.2960, stop loss 25, take profit 50. 1.2960. 1.2960, stop loss 25, take profit 50, needs to break trend line first. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, good. Then, now with that, we look at the euro dollar. Right, euro dollar, we were looking for that counter trend move back up. Hasn't happened yet, take that away. What you should notice here on a euro dollar is that it's got that level, right? It's got that level there on that support, so higher, forming that higher low, pushing back up. Ugly inverted head and shoulder, where you see that neckline being formed, trying to break above that point to push up. I would say that whole area forming as well. And then also that 61.8 from the short term, that previous high, I would still be looking, on expectation for that dollar weakness to buy the euro up. Straightforward view would be that you could trade it within this range, right? Where you would be looking to sell down, 30 pip stop, 30 pip take, 15 pip stop. You trade within this range. I don't particularly like that narrow range, especially with the anticipation that this could be a little bit higher. So I'll be looking for it to break above and to trade up. Let me take away a couple of these lines first. That one for sure. That resistance level makes sense. And look, we're looking at that same move as well. And about that point as well. Okay, so now with that, then what I'm thinking is look for it to break above. Take that as a consideration and that as the next level. Okay, so euro dollar break up above 1.0845, stop loss tight 20 at the very most, take profit up to 55 there, with a possible hesitation at 1.0870. Okay, so euro dollar again, we're looking at buying 1.08, oh, it's the same one, 1.0845, 20 to 55. Okay, hesitation 1.08, 1.0870. Yes, same thing. All right, cool. There we have it. Yeah, it's just sitting around here. So I think that this, again, I haven't drawn my triangles for a long time. I think that this area is going to be quite important on the dollar. It could come back in a little bit, but I am ultimately looking for it to push back down. Okay, then with that, looking at the yen pairs, US yen. Oddly, it seems like the dollar has, well, the not dollar, the gold has taken the limelight for, well, not odd. It's just that gold has taken the limelight for now. Oddly, the US yen has been a little bit quiet, right? It has been a little bit quiet. It's sitting right across. I don't think it would be something to rush into now, because remember again, tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, tomorrow we have the BOJ with their rates decision. It looks like they will keep rates on hold at 0.25%. There hasn't been that much talk about a rate decision or rate change from the BOJ. In the previous meetings, hasn't been so much this time around. That's why I say that they're a little bit quiet, and gold has taken the attention for now. But following the election over the weekend and how they've lost the majority, I'm not expecting a big change. I'm not expecting any changes in the rates, but we could see some comments coming from the BOJ, especially during the press conference. Might see some volatility come back into play. So for now, I would say that the yen is likely to remain within this range, right? Dollar weakness trying to pull it back down, but yen weakness trying to push it back up. So it's just going to fluctuate within this range. Be ready for a potential breakout, but for now, 152.73 and 153.86 will be the levels. It feels like you could trade within this range, the 100 pip range, but it feels like if you're doing a 15-minute short-term trading, you could do that. But if you're looking at anything longer, I think look for that breakout. Okay, so dollar yen 152.73, 152.70 and 153.86.85. Dollar yen, I feel like it's ranging. It's ranging between 152 forgot number dot 70 and 153.85. 152.70 and 153.86. But we're looking for breakout potential. There we go. All good so far? Put it into the chat. Let me know. And you can remember, please help me out. Click that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Now, with that, okay, then we look at the Euro Yen. All right, so test, we're looking for a test and break. It didn't test and break. In fact, it just came down slightly before sitting right across. Now, well, this was yesterday, pushed up and it sat right across. Kind of the same movement of what we're seeing on the US yen, where it's sitting quite tight. Again, as I expect for the euro to possibly push up, I'm looking for the euro yen to possibly push up as well. So I'll still keep this view at 166.2032 pip stop, 140 pip take to the upside. All right, back up towards that 61.8 level. And then it might come back down after that, but we'll see what happens then. I'll clear out some of these lines. Just thinking that way. Hang on a second, let me just check something. Okay, never mind. So now looking at that. So that's my big trend line to the upside. Cass asking, with BOJ weakness, can we have a view on Swiss yen? Yep, we'll do that. And pound Aussie making new highs. Okay, we have a look at that as well. With that holding it up. So yeah, Euro Yen, I'll still keep that view. And I'm thinking of this. Yeah, so I wouldn't be looking to sell the Euro Yen unless it breaks below that 165 level. For now, looking at it to sit and break to the upside. Okay, then onto the pound yen. Pound yen pushed up right after we had our session, almost right after we had our session. It came back down, would have hit your stop loss on that. That resistance now turned support. You can take that point there. So that's now turned to support. It's sitting again in that consolidation. I think that if you wanted, you'd be still looking at 199.73, stop loss 50, take profit a little bit lower at 100, consolidate and break to the upside there on the pound yen. Trend lines still make sense. Shorter term, yes. Yes, okay. So that's what I'll be looking for on the pound yen, that consolidation and a push back up. And then on to the US Swiss franc, right? And that worked out so nicely. We talked about this pushing down, and then yesterday said that, hey, we could look for it to push back up. This was where we were talking about it. It sat there, came back with a trigger and pushed up for 40 pip move, almost a 40 pip. It got to 38 before coming back down again. Now, I didn't get into that. I don't trade the Swiss franc. I just look at it because it's one of the majors. Now, at this point, again, dollar index pushing back up slightly. Right, dollar index pushing back up slightly. That's why we're seeing the Swiss franc push back up slightly. The Swissy, Looking at this, that makes sense. Yes. This level here, yes. What I would say that because it is right in the middle of this 8650 and 86 or 87 level, push it up to 87 level, I would say that it's right in the middle. So right in the middle, it's probably not worth trying to do anything at this point. And you'll also see that it has, take that away, found 61.8. Right, so it found that 61 from this move to push back up. What I would then be looking for would be a potential test and push back down on the US Swiss franc, which then you'll be looking at 8690, stop loss 15 at the very most. I like it above that round number. And then take profit, you'll be down to like 40 to the downside. All right. So US Swiss franc would be, oh, wait, 8690, yes, okay. US Swiss franc, we're looking to sell at 0.8690, stop loss 15, take profit, it's down 40, you might even do a little bit less and do a 35 at that point. I think that'd be better. 35 to that point. Okay. And then onto the US CAD, and that seems to be on track. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but it seems to be on track to working out that way. Then onto the US CAD, what I feel that I've got too many lines here, so let's take some of these away. So we've been waiting for this setup for a long time, a relatively long time, right? For it to test and reject and break back down. Let's clear out that for now. And that one for now. Okay, so the long-term move back up is there. That's 23. Trend line is there. Now, that whole area, yes, I have it. I don't actually need that area anymore. So let's take that one away and that away. Okay, so just cleaning up this whole move, or the lines on this whole move. And I'm looking at this point. Okay, there we go. So that's the move. We're looking at that point. Yes. So now the same thing. I would be looking if it breaks below this level. If it breaks below this level, I'll start thinking that I want to sell. Only if it breaks the trend line, then we can sell it down. Then, so I'm looking at it. Let me think. Hang on. Can it break above? Yes. That's a level here. Daily. Right above. I feel like it's just beating its time. All right, so it's just going to might push up a little bit more and then do that. And then we look for it to break. That's what I kind of look for. I would be looking for, and then you'd be thinking that if it breaks this level, great, needs to break the trend line to break lower. Still looking for that rejection to the downside. I would say 1.3875. Stop loss would be about 20 pips. take profit will be about 60, 70, no, 60 pips to the downside. You could even do a bit more. You can do 30 here. So look for it to test, bounce, break, trend line, break, 23.6, hit lower down to that 23.6. If there's good momentum, we got further downside as well. Okay, so again, US CAD looking at 1.3875, 30 to 60. US CAD, sell at 1.3875, stop loss 30, take profit 60 to the downside. Look at the dollar. And then on gold, right? We talked about this yesterday. I said it could range between 27.40 and 27.60. It didn't even get to that range. It ranged. This was where we were yesterday, right? It came only down to 27.50. Right, it only came down to 27.50 and then pushed up, broke above that previous high at 27.58 and went up. It just went up, right? This was last night at 9 GMT plus 8. It broke above 27.58 and it went up, 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 up. Now, if you look at this, again, it is well within that 1 and 2 standard Bollinger. When I was telling you about where it goes within the whole channel, pushing to the upside, it got up to, and we were talking about this on the Discord channel, close to that 27.90 level. Where is it there? In fact, it just touched 27. And this is why the round number levels, the key levels are so important, right? It came up, it just touched 27.90 and now it's pushing back down. All right. Now it's pushing back down. Is it a good time to sell? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I've been saying I'm hoping for a big correction back down, but I'm not brave enough to be selling this down yet. Right? It does need to break a couple of levels before I'll be looking to sell it down. So now, when you look at this, and if you saw my video, I keep talking about the old videos, but if you looked at the old video I did, I talked about gold getting to 2,800 and 3,000. I'm still looking at those levels. So now if you look at this move up there, gold could, not saying that it will, it could come down to 27.70 before pushing back up again. Right? Could come down to 27.70 before pushing back up again. And it's at 27.80 now, 27.81 now. You might think that you can sell it down. Some will. I would prefer to be looking for a test and then a break that way. All right, I don't know why I have this line there. A test and then a break that way. The trend line maintains that upward move, but it's not going to tell you too much. That was the previous high that we saw. Previous all-time high was formed on the 23rd of October. Now on the 30th of October, it's formed a new all-time high. So we'll keep that one there. Okay. I'll change this to a support level. There we go. I don't particularly need this anymore. Don't know what's that. Okay, so now if I'm looking at this overall, yeah, okay, good. There we go. On to, I don't know what am I doing. Okay, and right. There we go on gold. So gold could retrace down to 2770. Trace to 2770. Look for buying. Oh, look for rejection and buying opportunities. There we go. There we go. Thanks for that, Noachuku. Yes, don't forget to smash that like button. Now with that, we look at the Swiss yen. Where am I? Swiss yen, we did that one. Now that's formed a new high. 23 is still there. Hang on, let me just clear up. Just too many lines. All right. Swiss yen. First off, big high up there. Second thing, immediate level down there. So those are my two resistance levels. Right? Then we'll be looking at a point down here, which is going to be a nice support level. And then a point down here, which is a nice support level. Now that's done. Sitting right across. I'm actually going to differ a little bit because I think that the yen sitting there has that upside potential, has that potential breakout. We'll see the news tomorrow. But on the Swiss franc, we're possibly going to look at it possibly getting back a bit, back down. I want to see that weakness and then maybe come back down onto the Swiss yen. The straightforward view, of course, is that it breaks the resistance and it trades right up. Right? The straightforward view is it breaks the resistance and it trades right up. But I'm actually thinking that what if we see it crack this level and come back down? So, right, so what I was saying is, yes, it is consolidating in this area here. The straightforward one is to look for it to break up. Then you'll be looking to buy at 177.65. Stop loss would be about 50 pips, take profit. I don't think there is a 200 pip move to the upside. I would think that you have a level about there. So you'll be looking at a 100 pip move to the upside. Right, that's a straightforward view on the Swiss yen. What I'm actually considering is what if it breaks below this point. So it sits in a consolidation and you see a breakout to the downside where you might see 176.20 stop loss would be about 40 pips. Take profit would be about 100 pips to the downside. So a bit of a straddle, a wide straddle sitting right across. Break up, you got to sell, we got to buy, break down, you got that selling potential as well. Okay, so stay flexible there on the Swiss yen. And then onto the pound Aussie. There. Forming new highs. That was our resistance, now turned our support. So again, I have too many lines, but I won't do it this time around. I think that you have another level up here. Big resistance. So now back to the current. It looks like if you consider what the pound could do, we're looking at consolidating and possibly breaking back down. If it does push up, then it's more upside on the pound Aussie, but we're considering that breakdown. Aussie, it's going to gain a little bit. I want to see it push back up within this channel and then come back down. So pound Aussie again, thinking it's too strong to be selling it. Right? It's too strong to be selling it down. Don't need that. What I would be thinking in this case is that if the Aussie dollar does trade slightly higher within that channel, then pound Aussie, maybe I'll look for it to test that support and bounce back up again. So 1.9752, that case you'll be looking at 1.97858085, stop loss about 50, take profit at least 100, back up to 120 to the upside. Right? I'm looking for a test of support and bounce back up. Now, with all that said, and gold retracing nicely, hopefully a bit more to the downside so that I can buy it back up again. Please remember, trade well, trade safe, and if you haven't already, click that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you, everyone. Take care now. Bye-bye.